Welcome to Fun to Be You Friday. I am finally glad that it is February. It's been January forever. Oh
Yay!
my goodness, right? The
Yes.
longest month ever. But joining us today from Fun to Be You Friday is Marie Wallace. If you don't know Marie Wallace, you should know Marie Wallace. And I have been fortunate enough to know you for a long time because you used to
Yeah.
be two of my children's kindergarten teachers. And I adore you. So Marie Wallace, welcome to
Oh,
Fun to Be You Friday.
thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Thanks. Well, and I just have to ask, what makes it fun to be you, Marie? I have an idea of what makes it fun to be you, but what do you think makes it fun to be you?
Oh my goodness. I have had the adventure of a lifetime. I have a beautiful family, just three wonderful girls and a great husband. And then recently I retired and I have gotten to travel around the world. I've gotten to do writing. I do some fun writing transformation work. And I've gotten way into uh, humanitarian work. So I get to have all kinds of
You
fun.
do. You have a lot of flavor of writing life, which is awesome. And I would say I adored you as a kindergarten teacher because
Oh,
you love my kids. And anybody who loves
yeah.
my kids, I love, of course. But you really wanted to help children express themselves through writing, which is such a great gift for children who sometimes feel like their voice is so small. So I always appreciated that about you as a teacher.
Oh, thank you. And I think it transfers to all ages. I've gotten the privilege to teach writing from 4 to 94. And so, um, yeah, just I'm a source for people to own their voice. That's what I
Which
love that.
Awesome. So, okay, sometimes you meet people and they're like a teacher, and then they're still a teacher, and they're still a teacher, and then they're just always a teacher. And I'm not saying you're not always a teacher, but one year I noticed that you were posting on social media that you were retiring. I was like, oh, well, I wonder what she's going to do because obviously you were so good at teaching and so passionate about helping
Oh,
children that I knew
thank you.
that whatever you replaced it with had to be equally as awesome. And it seems to me you replaced some of it with helping people, like you said, have a voice.
Yeah.
So you just had a class today, actually, called Love Letters. Can you tell me
Oh, it
what
was so awesome.
classes that you do?
What I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Can you tell us about the Love Letters class and some of the classes that you have available for people to take?
Yeah, I would love to. So it's a journey in writing where people kind of get a chance to pour their heart on and soul on paper. And
Okay, that sounds
we,
scary to some people though. Like,
oh, no, 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 it does. Well, but it's in a good way. I have some creative, fun tools, and it's just an experience, and it's facilitated. And there are some things that people go, "Oh, I'm not a writer," or "Oh, I don't do." Sometimes I use poetry, but it's just used as a discussion. It's not. You don't have to analyze the poem or anything like that. And some people are really nervous about it, but last week I had someone who said, well, this is a writing class. I'm not a writer. He goes, you got your work cut out for you. And I go, challenge accepted. Because because I know once they go through it, they're going, oh, well, that's nothing like I thought it would be. And today I had a nice woman that said, I don't write, right?
no.
so so I think it's fun because it's yeah, when you say put your heart on paper, but it's finding the gold in yourself. That's why I call it Marie's Gold, is because we're always looking to uncover and discover the beauty in each other as well as in ourselves. And so that's kind of the work that I'm very passionate about.
Now, when you said finding the gold in yourself, I instantly had this image of this. Forgive me, I can't remember if it's like Japanese or Chinese pottery. Have you seen this? Where when they break, they put it back together using gold to fill like a plate back together. And so the gold's actually found in the trial, in the thing that they thought would break them. But anyhow,
I love that.
way to get tangent. You're going to have to look that up because it's
I am. Because right now it's the gold in the moments. Like the other day I wrote about the gold in the snow because people are so tired of the snow, and yet this I've seen my neighbors more than I have most winters, and we get a chance to talk, and everyone's helping each other, and we help the FedEx person get out. And so there's just beauty in all of that, and even in the tragedy there's you find certain things that help you learn and grow and become a better person, right? And
absolutely.
so So I call it gold in the moments too. So yeah, so I'm very interested in this Japanese art. I've got it on my list to look it
Yeah,
up.
you're
So
gonna have
thanks.
to. I wish I remember the name because it's beautiful and I love the concept. But you're right. You look for if you look for gold in moments that some people might like the snow. Some people are done with the snow. But Carter, my son, said to me today, he's like, I think it's so pretty. I don't understand why some people don't like it. I'm like, well, some people have a hard time. But you're right. We're pushing out neighbors. They get stuck. There's some connections that are happening that don't typically happen. So I think it's amazing. Well, that is so awesome. You have the opportunity. So do you teach classes frequently where people can join you and if they wanted to just try to find some gold in the moments?
Yay. So right now I am joining with Rebecca Evans to do a class called Love Letters. And so it's all different kinds, like love letters to ourselves, love letters to um, our, our family, friends, you know, people that we love and admire. I'm also working on like journal writing class for those that are just wanting to figure out, oh, do I like writing? Am I a writer? I've been wanting to get this book down, so maybe I can get me a few tools. And it's not like your everyday journal. It's like 18 different tools that you can use to spark creativity or even to organize your writing. Because sometimes it's you look at that blank page and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so blank, right? And I was, so what can I do? Yeah, you know, you've been writing a book, right?
Yes.
And so there's those days when you just want to get started. So there's a journal class that I'm doing for that. It hasn't gotten up and running until March because I have a new little grandbaby on the way. And so
Yay, that's so exciting.
I know.
Your first
And
grandchild?
this is my third one,
Oh,
but
wow.
yeah, it's my daughter's first one. So it's very exciting. And she lives in South Carolina. I only get to see her once a year. So I'm kind of taking a couple of weeks to, like I said, it's fun to be me, right? So I get to go greet the grandchild and figure, you know, and they come on their own time. But so in March, I'll do a few classes and then I'll really go full force because I go to India again in May. So June, the summer months, you should see a lot coming
Yeah.
out from the writing. And then I'm also looking into doing a camp for kids. So
Oh, yay. That's awesome.
yay.
I told my son that if he's going to do a camp, it needs to be a writing camp. So maybe we'll keep an eye on that. But so I want to pause right there because
There you go.
there is a thing that I was just thinking as you were talking about writing and all the different things that you help with. It's so therapeutic. It's great for business. It's great for families to have family histories, like little chunks of your life written down. So it really is for all ages and several purposes. So I definitely think that if you want to incorporate having a little bit of fun in your life, try writing. And sometimes it's just a means to something. It's not the ends in itself, right? So maybe for you it's that spark of creativity, or for you it's being able to process through your thoughts that can sometimes seem jumbled if they're not concrete, like written out. So
You're right.
awesome.
And
Writing is amazing.
in December, I did a class called Memory Jar. So I did a lot of exercises for people to tease out their stories to leave a legacy for their families. And I think that's important work too. That I've done that with the elderly group, and I've got to tell you the joy that they have reading their stories and their work to their families. So it's more than writing sounds scary, but I think it's because sometimes in high school we get that and I love teachers, but sometimes we get that one teacher who's only focusing on the, you know, grammar part and not the content.
Red
And
pen.
my dad was the red pen guy. So yeah. So I think that if you take that out and just go, you know what, there's so much beauty inside of each of us. And if we could get it down and share it with our loved ones so they, you know, get to know about us. I mean, leave a piece of history because words matter.
Right? And it doesn't have to be like I was born and this is what I did. It could be snippets of like a snapshot of your life almost. But okay, and writing is awesome, but there's so much more to you. And you had mentioned
Oh, thanks.
going to India again, but you've traveled to India and to Africa quite a bit lately. Can you tell us a little bit about how you did that and what your purpose was in that travel?
Okay. Well, it started out as a writing retreat, and I am part of a group called Shiro's United, which is it's for strong women role models, and their pillars are to bring awareness to domestic violence, and human trafficking, and then to honor the veterans. And so it's just, there's 1 out of every 3 women will be beaten, raped, or killed in her lifetime, and that equals 1 billion women around the world. And so a woman named Eve Ensler started this group called 1 Billion Rising. So those 1 billion women are now rising up to bring this awareness. And so when we went to India, we didn't want it to just be about writing's awesome, right? And so, and they had a women's conference there, and 109 countries were represented. So it was a great opportunity to bring the message. And then we got to go up into the Himalayas and distribute hygiene kits and Days for Girls, which you're
Days
very,
for Girls,
I know. And
this is before, like, when was your first trip to India? When was this?
last year.
Last year, what month was that?
May.
May. Okay, so that was like right as we were getting ready for our chat. Like, we were just full force of our chapter. We didn't even know that we were.
Oh, really? That's so cool. And what just the pure joy in people's faces to have shampoo and soap. And you and I talked about that. We reach in our shower and we just grab shampoo, right? We just grab it, and we don't think a second about it. And just the look and the joy in their faces. And then these 2 young girls, when they got the hygiene kits, they just followed us around all day. They came back, brought more people the next day, and they were just so excited to go to school. So it's a great project that you're doing. And and then you gave me some more to go to Africa and some material. So
yeah, so we gave some flannel, because flannel is really difficult to find in most countries, and the kits we do for the feminine hygiene, the flannel is really absorbent, and so we were able to get you some flannel. Marie, are you still with us? Looks like we had a little bit of internet issue with Marie. Oh, there, she's back. Great.
there, yay!
We were able to get some flannel in the hands of a team in Africa that's actually sewing kits for their own country women, which is awesome.
Yes.
Thank you for using the suitcase for that.
No, thank you. Like a whole tub. I'm like, I filled my suitcase, and it was so exciting. And so when I gave it to the lady who's organizing it, her eyes kind of popped, and she was like, "Oh, thank you so much," because it's giving jobs. And then the women buy the kits, and they purchase it for a small price, and then they're there for the education as well. And that's very enlightening to watch. So, good stuff.
So,
thank you.
You also, when you went to Africa, you bought a cow, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that, or if you could.
So when the lady that runs this, her name is Marilyn, she calls them soul safaris. She goes, these are the kinds of humanitarian things that you can do. And one of them was Days for Girls, and one of them was doing these tippy tap stations for washing, and they planting trees, and then this cow. And I was just very intrigued about why would you buy a cow? But they have this school that is self-sustaining, and they have their own vegetables and fruits, and they grow those there. And they also have a little fish hatchery, and they needed a cow to support them with milk during the school year. So the kids learn how to raise the cow and take care of it. And oh my gosh, that was super cool. And she was big and beautiful and pregnant. So they have 2 cows.
Oh, like 2 for 1.
Yeah. And they have it. So this is kind of a funny little tidbit because we're from Idaho. They haven't really seen white faces too much. So they get a little nervous at first, but then they just start petting you. So we were pets, and they pet our hair, and they were so sweet. And I got to tell stories. So that was, yeah. So talk about fun to be me. I got to tell stories to kids and then do interactive ones and them participate. So yeah, I've been very blessed with traveling this year.
That is so awesome. Marie, thank you so much for being on our Fun to Be Friday. And me, when I just listen to this, I just think, we do have lots of seasons in our lives. And we have opportunities to do the things we love in each season, and different things in different seasons. And so, maybe you weren't heavily traveling when your kids were young, but now you have the opportunity to go and be grandma, but then travel the world. And one thing that you mentioned a little bit about your family, one thing that I love is that the fact that you love your spouse and he loves you back is so apparent. And I think that's awesome because we don't have enough examples of like being in love and staying in love and working at love. And so even though we didn't get a flavor of that in the interview, that's something I appreciate about you. And is there something you'd like to share about that? Like what's your secret?
I think you hit upon that, is that you have to, you can't give away something you don't have. So if I don't love myself, it's really hard to give of that love, but it's a commitment I make every day as well. So every day I wake up and say, I love you. I'm going to do these things, right? And to express this love doesn't mean it's, so some people think it's super easy and super perfect. And I have to tell you that most of the time it's fairly easy because we're very respectful of each other and very, I don't know, just open and honest. I think being open and honest and speaking your truth. So when something bugs you, you come right up and say it, and just put it out there. It's less painful to put something out there that you know right away than to let it fester up but
Well, it's
honestly,
not fair because it's not fair to be like, oh, look what I have under this rug that I've been hiding from you for all this time, and I've been hiding it under the rug, and now here it is.
that's a perfect example of it. It's like, oh yeah, my husband, what he says he loves about me is he says that I know that she loves me and she wants me to be there, but I know if something happens to me tomorrow, she will be just fine. And it's because you just feel comfortable in your own skin, and you know that you'll be okay. Will I miss him? Yes, but I don't depend on him. He doesn't complete me, he compliments me. So
I like that.
that's the way I feel.
It's built to overflowing already. So you
And
have
he's just a
something.
kind person. So it's, we say we're both very blessed
That's
that way.
awesome. That's awesome. And we are blessed to be able to have you on our Money You Friday.
Thank you for having me.
Keep going and doing what you're doing. And oh my gosh, we're about to end it. And we didn't even talk about you have like a 1 billion and rising event coming up.
Yep, February 14th,
Heroes Unite, right?
Sheroes United. Well, yeah, and it's Boise Sheroes United because the Utah ones have a separate event. So it's February 14th at 4 o'clock. We have some practices going on at Amazing Changes at 9 o'clock this Saturday and next Saturday.
So it's a flash mob, right? So you can go
It's a flash mob,
parts.
and if you want to practice, you can practice at home. There's a mirrored version, and if you go to my page, I have a link to it, but you can just look it up on YouTube. Look up 1 Billion Rising, the mirrored version choreography for the dance, because you can just learn it at home. It's fairly simple.
And then show up, and then you just do what you do, right?
Oh, it's super fun. It's the energy of the group will really get you stoked. This is like, oh my gosh, this is so, yeah, it's very empowering. And we have 3 speakers who have been really very inspirational because they've been through some really tough things and they've come out on the other side. And so it's nice to see that, it doesn't have, your story doesn't have to, have, maybe you can help me on that.
Yeah, it's not like a life sentence. You're not defined solely by your story. You can break free and be something different.
And they are amazing, beautiful women that are very inspirational and empowering. So they would be great to listen to. So
Awesome.
Hope to see people there.
Okay.
Thank you.
I love
Thank
it.
you.
I love it. Thanks so much. And then we're just going to sign off for Fun of You Friday. Make sure
Okay.
take a look at our Tip Tuesdays that we have on Tuesdays and next Friday's interview. You never know who it's going to be. Sometimes I don't even know who it's going to be. It just it's like magic. And go out there and do the things that make it fun to be you.
All right. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye, sweetheart.
I think, oh,